Okay, guys. So I've been wanting to make this for a while as a Phillies fan. I've wanted to talk about Alec Bohm for a really long time, and I've been resisting the urge to make this because I know this is going to be extremely unpopular, and people do not want to hear this in the slightest because they really like him. They like him because of the character he showed last year, because they think he had a really great bounce back season last season, which he did objectively compared to his 2021 season, and because they're in part really desperate to see a position player prospect succeed for the Phillies. I'm one of them. I was somebody in 2021, after 2021, who was screaming to the heavens to give Alec Bohm, one more chance. Not even one more chance, but even like a couple more chances. Because I said, look at this rookie season he had in 2021. Not 2021, but 2020. He slugs 481, OBP of 400. That obviously wasn't sustainable, but the 481 slugging was incredibly encouraging with the only 20% strikeout rate and nearly 9% walks, plate appearances. But the 410 batting average on balls in play was completely unsustainable. That was going to come down. But I said, look at the rookie season. There's so much potential there. We can't dump him just because of 2021. And 2022 comes around, and he has that moment at the beginning of the season where he says, I fucking hate this place. And, then he admits to it. He's like, I'm sorry, I said it, and that's a really great moment. I won't deny that. This is not about that. This isn't even about just this season for me. This is about last year, 21 in general, the free agency season, off season coming up here, in 2024 off season. Going into 2024. And to get to the point here, Alec Bohm is not the future at third base for the Phillies. This is going to ruffle a lot of feathers when I say this. He is not the future at third base, especially with Matt Chapman, who is going to be a free agent this offseason, barring the Blue Jays, signing some mega extension with him, which is possible. Then the Phillies will have to stick with him for another season or so, barring there being a better option in the offseason, or some kind of trade comes up. The Phillies will have to stick with him. However, he is not the future. I'm going to start off with pointing this out here. His WRC plus, which indicates where you are compared to league average, is pedestrian, very pedestrian since 21 and 2020. A lot of people will go, analytics. When they see that somebody say WRC plus, that's just sort of the line people use to attack any kind of stat they don't agree with. WRC plus really accurately measures basically the level of every hitter that I've seen in baseball. I haven't seen a WRC plus for a hitter and I've gone, yeah, I disagree with that. Besides that, Bohm cannot be the future because of the position he plays and the production he puts the position he plays. Okay, what I mean by this is when Bohm was drafted, Bohm was shipped as a offensive first guy whose fielding was so bad he was probably going to have to move to first base at some point. That has kind of actually happened this season. I was going to say this hasn't happened, but it kind of has this season, where Reese, tore his ACL in the beginning of the year, and they've had Bohm playing a ton of first base this year. And Edmundo at third, who has not been very good at third at all, I will add, with all the errors he's committed. The biggest problem, though, is Bohm's defense could be as bad as it wanted. He could be like Edwin Encarnacion at third base, and I wouldn't care. Mr. E5 himself. As long as his offense is good. Now, a lot of people, when they hear you say Bohm does not hit for enough power for the position he plays, goes, well, he doesn't have to hit 30, 40 home runs in a season. He can just, who cares about that? He sprays the ball all over the field. Okay. A corner infielder who is not a defensive-focused third baseman, so we're not talking like some Brooks Robinson level defense at third base from Alec Bohm here, okay? We're talking like average at best level defense. A guy like that needs to be able to have some kind of pop at third. And I'm not saying like 30 home runs here. I'm saying like 20 and maybe a bunch of doubles, right? Be like a Nick Castellanos this season, where he's just been a doubles machine. That'd be fine with me, but that's not Bohm. That just isn't. His ISO, which you can see here, is really low. It's a 133. It's not that great. Only has 6 home runs, which, granted, will be probably better than last season at this rate. I certainly hope so. I'm just going to point out, people, that Bohm has has less games than Scott Kingery has. And Kingery has more home runs than not more home runs, he has the same amount of home runs as Alec Bohm throughout his entire career. Okay? Alec Bohm's on-base percentage, I could forgive the slugging if the on-base percentage was like 360, 370 or something. It's not. It's terrible. It's a 319. That's just atrocious. And we're gonna look at Kyle Schwarber here, who gets a ton of hate from the fan base. All right, Kyle Schwarber's on-base percentage is better than Alec Bohm's. Okay, well, he walks a lot. Okay, so he's not creating outs. He creates objectively less outs than Alec Bohm. Okay, and his WRC plus is higher because he hits home runs. All right, and that counts for something. I'm sorry to tell the people that hate, on him because he has a 174 batting average, which isn't good at all. I'm not saying it's good, but they pretend he's like the worst player ever. Guess what? Home runs and on-base percentage matter. And on-base percentage is a hell of a lot more important than fucking batting average. Okay? Because you're just completely disregarding a player's ability to know the strike zone. And the biggest weakness Bohm has, honestly, isn't chasing pitches, a foot outside the zone. It's his ability to select good pitches to hit in, non-two-strike counts. You will see him during games get a fastball on the black inside, which is like his worst area to swing at, okay? Like, even the Alec Bohm defenders, you got to admit that Bohm sucks at hitting inside fastballs that are anything faster than 92, okay? He sucks at it. And he'll swing at that in a 2-0, 2-1 count and pop it up to right field or pop it up to the infield. And this is not even just fastballs down, inside. Fastballs down the middle or, at the knees, middle of the plate. He will pop up to right field because he can't turn on them. He can't turn on a big league fastball, a decent big league fastball. He can't turn on them. Okay? And that's the reason why you don't see Bohm driving a ton of balls. People, when he came into this season, and I actually fell for this a little bit, sort of went, oh my God, he's put on all this muscle. Which, by the way, I'm not questioning the work ethic of Alec Bohm. Okay, you do not put on that much muscle if you did not bust your ass in the offseason. All right? So I hope people aren't taking this as an attack on the effort that Alec Bohm puts in. I'm not saying Alec Bohm does not care and doesn't want to become a better baseball player. Okay, there's just sometimes players can't do it. Okay? And that's what I'm saying is Bohm can't do it. The issue for Bohm has never been that he's not big enough. His first home run he ever hit in Atlanta when he was, 23. Okay? He hit it in Atlanta on a Sunday night baseball game. And it was a 400, I think it was 450 shot dead center field. It landed in the pool in Atlanta, right, that they have in center field. And, it was a blast. Bohm has always had the ability to hit a ball a frickin' mile. But the issue is he can't because he can't turn on big league fastballs. And it got better in 2022 and it's better than it was in 2021 by a mile, or else we would be still seeing 2021 level numbers. But it's still not good. Okay? And a lot of this is because his pitch selection isn't the greatest. He'll just, he swings at basically anything that's in the zone, it seems like. Guys like Schwarber or Harper, are a lot more disciplined in the zone and knowing what they want to swing at and what they don't want to swing at, which is actually extremely, extremely important in Major League Baseball. It's almost, I think, in some ways, it's more important than, ability to lay off pitches outside the zone. Like, if you can lay off a pitch a foot outside the zone, whoop-de-doo. You can lay off that sinker that's at the knees on the outside corner on a 3-0, 3-1 count. So, I'll take that as a strike and, go to the next pitch because I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just going to pound it in the dirt to somebody. That's awesome. Okay? Now, to get past these stats for Bohm, we're going to go down here. Now, this is Bohm's ground ball percentage here, fly ball percentage, infield fly ball percentage. line drive percentage. His line drive percentage this year is way, way down. It's down by 3.4%, which is a drop of over 10% from last year. Okay, because you'll say to somebody, oh, it's down by 3.4%, and they go, well, that's not anything significant. Well, you have to look at it relative to what it was the previous season, and it's down a ton. People also, you can look at the home run percentage and say it's up by 0.9%. Yes, okay, great, cool. However, you see his hard contact percentage, it's up. That's good. His medium contact is down. His soft contact is about the same. The issue, though, again, is that, hard contact, okay, you hit a 95 mile per hour, like, fly ball 300 feet to center field. Whatever. You see his line drive percentage. That's the thing you really are looking at, because for the game he kind of plays, which, I'm sorry, this is who Bohm is now, which is a guy who is going to slap the ball around the field a lot, okay? That's not good. That's incredibly bad that it is going down that much, because the fly balls Bohm hits are not hard hit fly balls. And I'm going to clarify this for some people here, because I know I get this comment whenever I bring this up anywhere, and it's like, oh man, you don't watch any ball if you think Bohm isn't, if any of the stuff you're saying about Bohm is true. You don't watch ball. I have watched the Phillies since I was 11 in 2013. And I watched basically every game through their losing seasons. 2013, we didn't even have cable. I had to listen to basically every game on the radio. I have a Jared Eichhoff and Ken Giles jersey. So I'm just telling you here, I know my Phillies. Okay? I know my Phillies. And everything I'm showing you here is that Alec Bohm is not the future at third base for the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryson Stott. Let's look at Bryson Stott. Bryson Stott, is another part of the daycare. And, this is, I think, important to look at for everything here. Bryson Stott is supposed to be a slap-hitting second baseman. Okay? Bryson Stott's WRC plus is 10 points higher. Is it 10 points? It's 10 or 12. It is 12 points higher than Alec Bohm's. 12% better than Alec Bohm. Okay? His ISO, his isolated power, which just basically takes slugging percentage and takes away all the singles. His ISO is barely below Alec Bohm. He has a much higher average. His on-base percentage is infinitely better. 3% increase in on-base percentage is massive. I'm just going to tell you that. Bryson Stott's slugging is somehow better than Alec Bohm, who's, again, a corner infielder who's supposed to be offense first. Offensive first corner infielder. Bryson Stott has the same amount of home runs as Alec Bohm. You can say Alec Bohm missed 13 days, but again, it shouldn't be close because of the position Bohm plays. You have to think relative to the position Bohm plays. Bohm plays third, and he is not a defensive first third baseman like Pedro Feliz in 2008. Okay? He needs to hit the ball, and he has not hit the ball with the kind of production that they need from a third baseman. And I'm going to wrap this up by saying, I want nothing more than for Alec Bohm to succeed and be, not even like, I don't want Alec Bohm, my expectations for him are not for him to be a Nolan Arenado level player. My expectations for Alec Bohm, where I would be satisfied even, is like maybe an 800 OPS. Okay? It's like 30 doubles in a season, and I would be okay with that. And maybe 15, 20 home runs. I would be fine with that, and he gets on base 330, 340. But he doesn't do that, and he hasn't shown, to me, any serious growth. Okay? You can talk about the muscle he put on and all that stuff, okay? But it sounds to me the same kind of talk, but for position players. People haven't even said, oh, Vince Velasquez added a changeup. Oh, Vince Velasquez added a cutter. This is going to fix Vince Velasquez, right? Like the people, talking heads would say. And we all knew because, you could tell about Velasquez. This wasn't going to change anything about Vince Velasquez. Okay, so Vince Velasquez sucked. All right? Vince Velasquez sucked. And we knew it wasn't going to change him. But for some reason, not for some reason, I know the reason. And it's because of the moment last season. That moment last season doesn't happen. Bohm is being booed out of Philly right now. Okay? Phillies fans need to put their emotion behind them here. Put that in the closet for now. And look objectively at Alec Bohm. Look objectively at him. And they will see clearly that Alec Bohm really is... He's the most overrated player on the Phillies. He's the most overrated player on the team. And you can talk about Nola being, well, Nola's overrated. Well, I'm going to say this about Aaron Nola, okay? So, Nola, everybody is bitching and moaning about the season. Nobody's, claiming Nola's, some great, amazing pitcher. If he's going to Phillies forum, right, and you say, Aaron Nola sucks, right? You say that. Nobody will come after you and say, you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know ball. If you go to a forum and say, Alec Bohm sucks right now. Alec Bohm is not an elite hitter. Right? Okay, not even Alec Bohm sucks. Alec Bohm is painfully mid. Okay? People will come after you in the droves. How dare you say that about Alec Bohm? How dare you? Oh my God. He has the most RBIs on the team. Don't even get me started on those people. With Bohm's RBI total. Bohm is up in seemingly every RBI situation known to man. The dude hits 5th or 4th or 6th almost every day in a lineup. I sure hope he has a lot of RBIs, hitting behind Harper, hitting behind Castellanos, hitting behind Turner, Turner, who as of the making of this video has been actually heating up. So if this changes, that might become a moot point with Turner. I sure hope he's getting a lot of RBIs with how many people are on base in front of him. God. But RBIs is such a useless stat to measure player productivity on. It is so heavily reliant on luck of which situations you get placed in as a hitter. It's disgusting. Okay? Now, you get to a point where you get 130 RBIs and you say, oh, that's impressive. But just going he has the team leading RBIs, so he must be a good hitter. That's stupid. That's so incredibly stupid. Okay? I've tried to refrain from calling this fan base out and yelling about their intelligence. This fan base can be incredibly dumb sometimes. And this is turning into a rant about the Philly fan base. But Bohm, people talk about Bohm throwing the world. People talk about Jose Alvarado or Rhys Hoskins or Aaron Nola throwing the World Series last year. And then this fan base completely throws out Nick Castellanos and Alec actually was pretty good. But they threw out Nick Castellanos being terrible because he made 2 catches in the playoffs. Okay? I'm getting off track. That's all. I've wanted to get this off my chest for a while about Bohmer. I really hope, I pray that he breaks out because I'm tired of seeing positional prospects fail for the Phillies. I'm tired of it. It looks like Stott is succeeding, hopefully. And again, Stott's OPS is allowed to be lower because, he is a middle infielder. And his profile's different. So if he hits 300 but his OPS is down more, that's fine. But his OPS is 764, so it's higher than Bohm's by a lot. Point is, Bohm does not hit enough power. He does not walk enough or get on base enough. And his fielding is not good enough to make up for that. So what are you left with? You're left with an average to below average player. And this is his 4th year in the bigs. Okay, and we should be seeing serious strides by now, and we just haven't. So that's all. Enjoy your day. Hope I didn't piss too many people off. I probably did. We'll see. It's probably going to end up being massively disliked, but, it's the truth. I'm sorry to tell you guys, it's the truth.